Welcome to the 2019 NFHS Softball Rules, Changes, and Instructional video. My name is Amy Cassell, and I serve as the chairperson of the NFHS Softball Rules Committee. The NFHS works to develop various instructional materials with the goal of improving interscholastic softball umpiring across the country. Last spring, NFHS released an online training program focusing on game management, obstruction, and interference. This was the first NFHS training module release of this type. We are currently working on a second training module, which will provide insights into 2 and 3 umpiring systems. Both modules contain information about the rules and video clips of play situations that help clarify the rules. The overall goal of this new endeavor is to provide easy access to instructional materials for newer interscholastic softball officials, players, coaches, and spectators. At this time, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Sandy Searcy, who will provide information about the growth of interscholastic softball and the Rules Committee.
Thanks, Amy. The NFHS Softball Rules Committee consists of 11 voting members, which include 1 member from each geographic section, a chairperson, an NFHS coaches representative, and an NFHS officials representative. The current committee is chaired by Amy Cassell, and the members include Trish Whitkin from Section 1, Jerry Fick from Section 2, Shaquana Dancy from Section 3, Tracy Henry represents Section 4, Justin Fletchock, Section 5, Scott Owen, Section 6, Missy Kilby, Section 7, and Kathleen Burns represents Section 8. The coach's representative is Melissa Hobson, and the officials representative is Willie Moore. The committee meets in June of each year and discusses proposed rule changes submitted by state associations based on input from the state office, officials, and coaches. Each year, a 4-part survey is sent to all state associations, and they are encouraged to share it with as many officials and coaches as they deem appropriate. The results of these surveys is consolidated and becomes a part of the Rules Committee discussion. In my position, I serve as the national editor of the Rules Book and the National Rules Interpreter. The 2017-18 participation survey indicates that 15,579 high schools offered fast-pitch softball, and there were 369,450 participants nationwide. In addition, 431 high schools offered slow-pitch softball with an additional 6,919 participants. Interscholastic softball continues to grow in numbers as well as skill level. It is imperative that NFHS softball umpires keep the pace in growth and development so that games are played fairly and safely. I encourage every official to recruit new members to their associations so that there will always be a pool of qualified officials to be available for the increasing number of games. Recruitment of officials is a critical issue for NFHS in every state. Officials, coaches, and administrators need to seek out every opportunity to add to the officiating pools.
At this time, summary of the rules changes will be provided. As appropriate, additional information that is pertinent to officiating mechanics or interpretations will be added.
The first rule change deals with media areas. The media shall be prohibited from being in live ball area. The home team or game management may designate an area for the media in dead ball territory. This change affects Rules 117, 222.4, Table 5.1, and Rule 5110. The change in language clarifies that game management may designate a media area in dead ball territory.
Creating a designated media area in dead ball area minimizes risk for players and media personnel. Home team or game management may still designate media areas, but not in live ball area. This also helps in the consistency in rule enforcement. The previous rule called for the ball to become dead if the ball passed through an occupied media area, but remain live if the area was not occupied. The possibility that any given area is a dead ball area only at certain times during a game could create a situation that might be unfair to one team. The second rule change was to Rule 152A that now states that the knob may be molded, lathed, welded, or adjustable, but must be permanently fastened. The rule change clarifies that an adjustable knob is permissible, provided the knob is permanently fastened by the manufacturer.
A change in Rule 184 now states that defensive players are permitted to wear a shield on their face or head protection in the field, but it must be constructed of a molded, rigid material that is clear and permits 100% no tint allowable light transmission. In an effort to promote risk minimization and in alignment with existing rules pertaining to face shield for helmets, tinted eye shields are prohibited for defensive face and head protection.
Language to address the penalty for an illegal pitch was changed. Previously, all base runners were advanced one base as well as a ball being called on the batter. The approved change removes the advancement of the base runners. Considering that an illegal pitch is designed to hinder the batter, the 2018 NFHS Softball Rules Committee felt that the new language creates more balance between the offense and defense, with only the batter receiving an advantage from the new penalty for an illegal pitch.
There are several exceptions to the penalty for an illegal pitch. An illegal pitch remains a delayed dead ball. If there is an illegal pitch and the batter reaches first base safely and each other runner advances at least one base, the illegal pitch is nullified. This video shows a pitcher committing an illegal pitch followed by the batter hitting a base hit up the middle. Since R1 advanced one base and the batter runner was also safe at first base, the illegal pitch is nullified. Unchanged from the previous year's rule, if the batter does not reach first base safely or any base runner fails to advance at least one base, the coach of the team at bat shall have the option to take the result of the play or the penalty for the illegal pitch, which is a ball awarded to the batter. As we can see in this video, the pitcher commits an illegal pitch by bringing her hands together twice. The batter then hits a ground ball to F4, who fields the ball and tags R1 out. Once the play is over, the umpire will call time and give the offensive coach the option of the play or penalty for the illegal pitch. If the batter is hit by an illegal pitch outside the strike zone or ball 4 is awarded on an illegal pitch, the batter is awarded first base, but there is no longer a one base award to each base runner. The base runners are advanced only if forced. In this play, with runners on first and third, the pitcher is called for an illegal pitch. Since that pitch is ball 4, the batter is awarded first base, which advances R2 to second base. However, with the rule change, R1, who is not forced to advance, remains at third base.
Rule 265-2 was clarified with regard to appeals and intentional walks. The intentional walk is considered a time at bat, and an appeal of the previous play cannot be made following the intentional walk. Once an intentional walk is awarded by the umpire, it is considered the same as throwing a pitch. This clarifies there can be no appeal of the play that occurred prior to the umpire awarding an intentional walk. The intentional walk allows the batter to be awarded first base without a pitch being thrown. It is, however, considered a time at bat. The pitcher is charged with a base on balls and the batter is awarded first base. The new language applies to all plays where the appeal must occur before the next pitch.
Language regarding what constitutes the start of a pitch was also clarified. When the pitcher's hands are separated after they have come together while the pivot foot is on or partially on top of the pitcher's plate, she is considered to have started the pitch. Any step back with the non-pivot foot must begin before the start of the pitch. This editorial change defines what motion constitutes the start of the pitch and makes it more clear when the step back of the non-pivot foot must be started. With the new wording, the pitch starts when the hands separate, whether or not the pitcher uses a windup, which created a confusion with the previous wording. Once the pitch is started, the hands separate. The pitcher shall not take more than one step, which must be forward, toward the batter and simultaneous with the delivery. During this motion, the pitcher's hands are still together as she starts her step back. Then the hands separate and the pitch is delivered. This is a legal pitch. As long as the step back begins prior to the start of the pitch, it remains legal.
An addition to the 2019 NFHS Softball Rules Book should help coaches and umpires as a quick reference tool for using the DP Flex.
There are 4 major points of emphasis included with the 2019 rule changes. The first deals with the pitcher simulating taking a signal. While on the pitcher's plate and prior to bringing her hands together, the pitcher must take or simulate taking a signal from the catcher. A signal may be taken from a coach, either by hand signals, verbal call, or by looking up on a wristband with a playbook or play card. The signal obtained from the coach can be taken while on the pitching plate or while standing behind the pitcher's plate prior to taking a position on the pitcher's plate. By rule, the only requirement is that no matter where or from whom the actual signal is obtained, the pitcher must take a position on the pitcher's plate with the hands separated and simulate taking a signal from the catcher. Requiring the pitcher to take a position on the pitching plate and simulating taking a signal from the catcher prior to bringing her hands together allows the batter to prepare for the start of the pitch. If the pitcher does not pause after stepping onto the pitcher's plate to simulate taking a signal from the catcher prior to bringing her hands together, an illegal pitch should be called. This clip shows a pitcher taking the signal behind the pitching plate, then stepping on the pitching plate, and immediately bringing her hands together without simulating taking a signal from the catcher. This is an illegal pitch.
516.
Illegal pitch.
These next 2 clips show the pitcher getting the signal from the coach behind the pitching plate and then stepping on the pitching plate. But different from the clip 1, she simulates taking a signal from the catcher prior to bringing her hands together, making this a legal pitch.
516.
The next clip shows the pitcher starting on the pitching plate when the coach gives the signal. Again, the pitcher does not simulate taking a signal from the catcher prior to bringing her hands together, making this an illegal pitch.
312.
Illegal.
These clips show the same approach of obtaining the signal while on the pitching plate. However, the pitcher simulates taking a signal from the catcher, making these pitches legal.
523.
Ball.
523.
These clips show a method where no play cards are used and the pitcher obtains her signal from the catcher prior to bringing her hands together, resulting in a legal pitch.
Ball. Ball.
The second point of emphasis deals with proper sliding techniques. One of a coach's responsibilities is to help reduce risk and injury to players whenever possible. This includes teaching proper sliding techniques as well as educating players on executing a legal slide, as in Rule 252. Ensuring that players utilize proper technique when sliding will help reduce the potential injuries seen when a slide is performed. Ensuring that the slide is performed legally will also reduce the risk to the defender when a tag is being applied to a player sliding into a base. This video clip shows a legal feet-first slide. As we review this legal slide, which can be head or feet first, we see the runner sliding feet first, which requires that one leg and buttock be in contact with the ground, which we can see here, that requirement has been met. One additional requirement of a slide is that the runner must be within reach of the base when the slide is completed, which is clearly satisfied at the completion of this slide. Now, let's take a look at a head first slide. Again, as you can see, this slide is legal since the runner is in contact with the base at the completion of the slide.
The third point of emphasis focuses on making sure that the head coach's name is listed on the lineup card. Although not a requirement by rule, it is considered a best practice that the head coach list his or her name on the lineup card submitted at the pregame conference. By listing his or her name on the lineup card, it assists both the umpire and other team if communications dealing with the game are required. Here is a video of an umpire requesting a coach add their name to the lineup card during the pregame conference.
All right, we'll take lineups today. Who's my home team today?
We are.
All right, I will take your lineup first, sir. All right, we got first initial, last name, position number, subs listed, and your name on the lineup card. You want to take one more look at that for me, please, sir? I'll take yours, coach. All right, we got first initial, last name, positions, numbers, subs, but I don't have your name on the top of this. Could you sign that for me, please? Give that back to you. There's a pen. There's that. Thank you, sir. All right, thank you. Lineups are official at this point. Does anybody need to make any changes?
No.
Okay.
The final point of emphasis focuses on the new illegal pitch penalty. The NFHS Softball Rules Committee voted to remove the advancement of runners when an illegal pitch is called. Since the intent of an illegal pitch in softball is to deceive the batter, the committee felt that only the batter should receive an award when an illegal pitch occurs. The change to the penalty for an illegal pitch will result in a ball being called on the batter, but runners will only advance if forced as the result of the batter being awarded first base. Exceptions to the penalty for an illegal pitch in Rule 6, Section 1, Article 1 have also been modified in order to be in compliance with the new penalty and ensure that runners are no longer advanced as the result of an illegal pitch.
This concludes the 2019 NFHS softball rules changes and points of emphasis summary. Thank you for joining us and have a great season.